Hi everyone, it's me, Jenna Ryan. How are you doing today? Just wanted to do a quick video here where I'm going to discuss the victim mentality of the narcissist or the abusive person. The victim mentality. This is such a strange phenomenon. How someone who can be so cruel and do so many things to you can turn around and play the role of the victim, which means the narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, manipulative person. It could be codependent. It could be somebody who is borderline. It could be any number of different types of maladaptions. But the person who is always playing the victim is in the victim role because they can't take responsibility for the things that they do to others. So what they do is they gaslight other people and just tell themselves, lie to themselves, thinking that all the while that they are the poor victim. Now this is very damaging to the victim, the true victim, the victim of this person's abuse. It's very damaging to have someone abuse you emotionally, physically, any way, and then to turn around and blame you as the victim for doing things to them. And here you've just, minding your own business, this person comes along and hits you upside the head and then blames you. That's very common in domestic violence situations where the man says, "Look what you made me do." And I've heard of some women abusers too, but mostly it's men. "Look what you made me do." Or a parent, "Look what you made me do. You made me abuse you. You made me spank you. You made me whip you." That's what the abuser does. This is the way the abuser can justify to his or herself the abuse that they are putting on other people. That's how they can sleep at night, is by playing the victim, the poor me, the victim. I don't deserve this, but this person is treating me badly, and I'm just the poor victim. And the problem is that these people who are mentally disturbed and going around and abusing other people and not taking responsibility for it really wears thin on the true victim. It's really hard, especially if this has been happening since you were a little child, to really determine who is the victim. And if you've had this situation since you were a child, you may even believe the narcissist whenever the narcissist says, "Look what you made me do." You may also very easily fall for gaslighting techniques of manipulative people that say, "What are you talking about? I didn't just say that to you. I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't hurt you in that way. I didn't slam you upside the wall. I didn't throw a plate. I didn't manipulate you. I didn't try to make you feel like crap. I didn't do that. What are you talking about? How dare you? How dare you accuse me of doing these things to you?" This really psychologically wears down the victim, especially somebody who's been groomed to be a narcissist victim their whole life. You grow up not knowing which end is up, not trusting your own perception of reality. And you begin to question yourself. And then you also are drawn to people who will accuse you of their own abuse. It's a trauma bond. It's trauma blindness. It's being repetition compulsion, where just like you were treated as a child, it continues to happen as you get older, and you still are attracted to people that accuse you and blame you for the abuse. A codependent person who has been raised around people that are narcissistic will have a tendency to take the blame for everything, even before the narcissist even requests it, because the codependent person is generally so into people-pleasing and so wants to please the narcissist that he or she will go out of their way to take the blame. Anything to please the narcissist. And that is a definite it's a character flaw in the codependent, to turn against his or herself, to turn against oneself and to take the blame for abuse that someone else is enacting upon you. It sounds absolutely crazy, but it happens every day where narcissistic people are playing the victim. They sit back and play the victim. So what do we do as victims of these abusers who don't take accountability for what they're doing to us or what they do? Well, one thing we can do is we can take care of ourselves. And that's the most important thing, is to take care of yourself and remind yourself in your heart of what reality is. And to stop caretaking the narcissist. To stop taking the blame or even pretending. Even if you know in your mind, okay, I know that's not my fault. You don't even placate them. You don't let them think that it's your fault. You don't do anything to please them. You just let them sit and go on their merry way. You don't try to be in a relationship with someone who is playing the victim for the abuse that they are instilling on you. Because basically they're projecting their abuse onto you. They're doing it, but they're not strong enough, mentally strong enough, because of whatever reason, however they were raised, whatever happened to them, they're not strong enough to take accountability. Because if they were to take accountability for 1 minute for what they do to you, it would crush them to bits. They feel like they are so worthless and they have so much shame that they won't allow themselves to feel the shame. So they feel grandiose. They feel like that they are perfect, that they do nothing wrong. And they project all negative emotion off onto the victim, him or herself. They don't take accountability. And this is so frustrating if you're on the receiving end of it. It is absolutely, because our minds are not made to reconcile that cognitive dissonance. It causes this cognitive dissonance. And anytime you have cognitive dissonance, your mind goes on a loop-de-loop. You're like looping. That wasn't my fault. Why do they think it's my fault? And you begin to get caught up in their illness because you're trying to reconcile. Our minds want to feel either good about someone or bad. But in this situation, this person is not acting in reality, is not perceiving in reality, and is not treating us as if what happened happened. They're treating us in a gaslighting way, like they didn't do jack diddly. And we're sitting there going, ow, that hurt, you just hit me. You know, it might even be an invisible slap, an emotional type of abuse. Someone who says something rude to you, who yells at you, who accuses you of things, who makes backhanded comments, and then turns around and says they didn't. Because they create, these narcissistic types create reality however they want to create it. They don't care what reality is because they have to be so right. So as someone who's recovering from codependency, recovering from people pleasing, recovering from attraction to these narcissistic type of people due to a very abusive childhood, you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to let go of the need for other people to see what they are doing. You have to learn to let go of needing other people to apologize to you for the things that they've done. Because if you don't let go of that, and you've got to not just let go of it, you have to grieve it. You have to grieve the fact that they're never going to finally turn around and say, I agree, I did that to you, I'm sorry. They're never going to do that. And there's some grief there. There's some loss there. And if you don't go through the grieving phase and the realization that they're never going to change, they're never going to see your side, they're never going to see that they are the ones that are causing the problem, they're never going to see that they're the ones that abused you. Never. Never. And you just have to come to terms with that and really just put that to bed once and for all. Because as long as you're still hoping, as long as you're still wanting them to change their mind, to see the truth, as long as you're trying to fight them over their view, their perception of reality, their false reality that they live in, as long as you're fighting against that, you will forever be stuck in the process of repetition compulsion. And you'll end up having all kinds of issues inside your heart because you won't know what end is up. Your perception will be skewed because that is the goal of the narcissist, is to keep people around them in utter confusion so they don't know what's going on, and so that the narcissist can take control and overpower and get narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply is gained by the narcissist whenever you're questioning and wondering what the F is up. When you're going, what just happened? Was that not them or was that me? What? They're sitting here accusing me, and they're the ones who just slapped me upside the face with an invisible slap. Or even a physical slap. What is going on? And you begin to become insecure about your own reality. And then they're able to come in and do all sorts of things with your mind. So what you have to do is you have to let go. You have to let go of the need for the narcissist to change. You have to let go of the need for the narcissist to see your pain, because they cannot see you. They see everyone as an extension of themselves. So you are invisible to them, and that's life, and you've got to face it, and it really, really hurts, and I'm sorry, but we've got to cry, and then we can move on when we cry tears for the child that was treated that way when we were little, when we cry tears for the adult that was treated that way and who lost out on so much of life because we've been spending time trying to change the narcissist's mind and get the apology from somebody that's never going to give it to us. So you have to let go. Letting go involves all sorts of processes. It involves emotionally letting go, your inner child letting go, the inner child experiencing the truth of the loss and grieving the loss with real tears and real sadness and allowing that sadness to be present. Then it also involves some cognitive changes, some changes in your thought processes, and letting go of the need for someone to change so that you quit ruminating. You need a process inside your mind that says, okay, there's nothing I can do. And I faced it. I've grieved the loss. I'm in a habit of ruminating and thinking that this narcissist person will one day realize what the truth is, but I need to let go of that. And I've already grieved it. However long it takes to grieve it, you grieve it. And then you begin to thought stop and say, stop, no more thinking. No more thinking about that. We're going to think about the positive things in our life today. Like every time you start to go off on a tangent and start ruminating about how some narcissist is treating you like crap and you don't understand and they won't agree. Do you know what I'm talking about? That spiral, and you begin to, it just gets you all messed up. Stop it. Just say, stop it. Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you guys, but stop it. And be really, really definite when you say stop it. Stop it. My life is beautiful. My life is wonderful. And you begin to stop the thoughts that are going down a path that is sucking the blood out of you, because that is narcissistic supply for the narcissist, for you to wonder what the F is up. Also, treating these thoughts of what the narcissist thinks and what reality is and what your perception is, when you know what's happened, generally speaking, the codependent takes all the blame. Whenever you begin to put the blame where the blame is due, which is back on the narcissist, the shame where the shame is due, which is back on the narcissist, you begin to do that, then you can begin to allow feelings to be present, allow thoughts to be present, but then just let them float by. Just like a meditation. Just like, if you practice meditating, you can feel the narcissist do what the narcissist is going to do, and then just let it go by. You can feel thoughts about how the narcissist cannot see that what they've done, and then you can just go, that's interesting. Thank you very much, and let it float by. I'm not really good at explaining that part, but it's about kind of like letting thoughts pass by like clouds in the sky and just letting them be there. Not shaming yourself because you haven't gotten rid of these thoughts yet. Not shaming the other person because they're a narcissist. There's nothing they can do. A narcissist is a narcissist. It's up to us to just realize that's what they are and move forward and quit trying to change them and quit trying to wrap our mind around something that we will never understand because they don't fit. It doesn't fit in society for someone to abuse you and then turn around and accuse you of abusing them, or turn around and whine that you have hurt them because you don't want to talk to them anymore because of the abuse that they heap on you every time you're in their presence. You have a boundary. How dare you have boundaries? You're hurting me so bad because you have boundaries. Look, people, you're allowed to have boundaries. That's called humanity. I need boundaries to protect me from people that act like victims whenever I have a boundary. So the narcissist will always play like the victim. You can just forget trying to change their mind. They're never going to, so you have to do things within, all you can do is change your responses and change who allow yourself to be around, and make sure you get around people who respect your boundaries and who see reality for what's really going on, and make sure you teach your inner child that your inner child is good and right, and let go of all this negative rumination and trying to change other people, because it's not going to work. I'm Jenna Ryan. That's all for today. Talk to you soon.